And yesterday, the Supreme Court heard two landmark cases on the future of women's sports. The justices appeared ready to uphold state laws banning participation by biological men. The hearing prompting debate on gender protections under the law.
What is that definition for equal protection purposes? What does it mean to be a boy or a girl or a man or a woman?
We do not have a definition for the court, and we don't take issue with we're not disputing the definition here.
Well, how can a court determine whether there's discrimination on the basis of sex without knowing what sex means for equal protection purposes?
And May Mailman is a director of the Independent Women's Law Center. She was at the rally outside the Supreme Court yesterday. May, give me your take, but I just don't think that the people wanting to have biological males participate in men's sports or the rights there, I think they had a terrible day at the Supreme Court yesterday, deservedly so. But could I be wrong, and will the justices maybe say that they were right?
No, I think you're right here. I mean, it is pretty crazy to think that in certain states right now, women's sports are illegal, right? That's what's happening right now in West Virginia, in Idaho, in Arizona, actually, too. That case wasn't argued yesterday. And it does appear as though at least 5, if not 6 justices are going to say that actually West Virginia and Idaho, you can have your laws. You can have women's sports. There was still something concerning, though. I think there's still some fight left, though, because some of the conservative justices and, of course, the liberal justices referred to boys here as transgender girls or transgender women. And when you don't really know what a woman is, and this is not just a problem on the left, then the next case is going to be about prisons. The next
it could
case,
have been that the argument, like, it's almost like ridiculous that we have to even have this conversation, but we have to have it because it has to get solved. But one of the things that showed how ridiculous it was this response. Listen to Justice Brown Jackson talking about what you just said.
I guess I was getting at what I understood the Chief Justice to be trying to discuss, which was this notion that this is really just about the definition of we accept that you can separate boys and girls, and we are now looking at the definition of a girl, and we're saying only people who were girl assigned at birth qualify.
May, what was she saying?
Well, nobody knows what she's saying, but the Chief Justice basically asked whether you're contesting the definition of girl. And the ACLU, even though they said that they weren't, of course they are. And the Chief Justice was very concerned that if you don't know what a woman is, if you have no definition, then not only can you not decide this case, but when it comes to prisons, when it comes to domestic abuse shelters, when it comes to all sorts of areas of life where women have protections, women have equal opportunity housing, sororities, these sorts of things, that without a definition, all of those women's spaces, all of those women's opportunities and protections are dissolved. And so Ketanji Brown's action, rather than helping out her, the left side, she actually added confusion and basically said, yes, there is no definition of woman. Yes, all of those spaces are at risk.
May, I have a question. Does IWF take a position on whether it is acceptable to just allow the states to be the deciders here, or do you want a federal definition?
So I think that Title IX was enacted to protect women's opportunity, and therefore there should be women's equal opportunity in every state. That federal question has already been decided.
Okay.
And so President Trump agrees with that. That was part of the executive order protecting women's sports.
Right. That's what. So I had there. That's my only concern is that let the states decide. I'm like, no, that to me is not enough. But let's just say, I think it'll end up being overwhelming victory for girls and girls sports. It might not be 9-0, but I think they're going to win. We'll see. That will be out by June. Thank you so much, May. Great to see you. Appreciate it.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.